This video was suggested by my patron Max, who's interested in the fact that Germans don't make many babies. That the German birth rate is so low. What's the story behind that, and what effect is it having? At the moment, the fertility rate is around 1.5 live births per woman, which is just slightly below the EU average. This is a bit worrying because ideally what you want is a fertility rate of just over 2. With only 1.5 children born to each couple, the population is going to decline, and that's what's been happening. In 2015, there were about 700,000 births and about 900,000 deaths. But of course, with modern medicine, more people are living longer, and if we continue to improve, we may be able to reverse the population decline. That's good news, isn't it? Not really, because it creates another problem. Older people retire and then receive the medical attention they need to continue living. But this medical attention costs money, so where does the money come from? From health insurance, of course. People who are working and earning money pay into the system so that there's money for medical treatment. But with fewer people being born, there are fewer workers and so less money being paid into the system, but costs are rising. This is called the demographic time bomb, and it's a real problem. This graph shows the number of people at different ages in Germany in 1910, a nice pyramid shape. This is what it was like in 1988. Fewer younger people supporting more older people. So why has the birth rate fallen? Well, there could be several reasons for this, but by far the most important will have to be, quite simply, that people are choosing to have fewer children. We have this choice now thanks to reliable contraception. If you look at the birth rate over the last few decades, it took a deep dive in the late 1960s. This was the decade that the contraceptive pill became available. At the same time, of course, it's become more normal for women to work, and having children can be a real bind when both parents are working. It doesn't help much that in Germany, children go to school very early in the morning and come home sometime after lunch, which makes having children not really compatible with having a career. So it's no surprise that the birth rate is really low among university graduates. In recent years though, the birth rate has gone up very slightly, which is encouraging, but progress is still very slow. Still, what has caused this rise? Well, the government is very pleased with its programme of improved support for families with children, but a much more important factor may simply be that at the moment there are more women of childbearing age. This may be due to the fact that the children of the baby boomer generation are now grown up and having children of their own. But what about immigration? What impact is that having? Over the last couple of years, Germany has accepted hundreds of thousands of refugees and other immigrants, and they tend to have higher birth rates. And this is behind all those stories about how in just a few years' time, Muslims will outnumber non-Muslims. That's unlikely. There's a difference between birth rate and fertility rate, but the reason the birth rate is so high among immigrants and refugees is that they tend to be young adults when they arrive. Most of the older generation is missing. So the higher birth rate is only temporary. As the immigrant population ages, it is expected that the birth rate will drop to the same level as it is for native Germans, for the same reasons. Also, the effects of the recent refugee crisis on the birth rate haven't kicked in yet. These people aren't coming over here and then immediately giving birth. The increase that we've seen in births to non-Germans in Germany is mostly down to previous immigrations, people from countries like Bulgaria and Poland, not the refugee crisis, but the expansion of the European Union. So that's the situation. Not enough children and a shrinking population, and that's not going to change anytime soon. Recent figures are encouraging, but a lot more needs to be done. So come on, Germans, make more babies. My pension depends on it. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to send me a postcard, here's the address. And don't forget to visit my website and follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Also, if you'd like access to special bonus content and help with the costs of running this channel, please consider making a small monthly donation on Patreon.